There we go. So our topic today is we're going to discuss PSG Wealth's the tax-free investment plan, and obviously take a look at how the product works, and more specifically, let me take this off because you guys can still see me, so let me just take it out of the way there. But the idea with today's webinar is just to show you what choices you have, and obviously the main thing is I want to create urgency. As you can see with the title, why the smart money is topping up on tax-free savings. So this is a quick introduction. We all know the old cliche, there's only two certainties in life, and that's death and taxes. So you can't avoid either, no matter how hard you try, okay? But there's always a way to make tax less intimidating. So that is some of the presentation today is focusing on obviously the tax aspect, but also the idea is to understand how it works. Tax is tax is money we pay in a democratic country. We pay to the government, and I know some of us might have negative feelings and things like that. But ideally, the idea is that the tax money is needed for social services like transport, education, international security, national security, healthcare, and welfare. So the idea is that we're filling up the government's coffers. You have to pay some of your money to keep the country running. And I know that we don't want to go down the negative path. I want to focus on the positives today. So if you're wondering why you should be paying tax, just keep in mind that your income tax contribution helps obviously build a better South Africa. That is the idealistic approach. But what's more important, and this is my feeling, is the more people pay their fair share, I think the less each individual has to contribute. So that is the part, as I say, part of the presentation. Here's the agenda. And you can see we're going to go into what it's all about. But just to kick start, there's 3 quotes on tax. And yes, I'm harping on the pain still regarding tax. The first quote is here from Margaret Mitchell. She was the author of the book Gone with the Wind. Remember, this was written way back in the 1930s. Death, taxes, and childbirth. There's never any convenient time for any of them. Okay, so that's the first quote on tax. Here's a quote from Barry Goldwater. The income tax created more more criminals than any other single act of government. And I know you guys are nodding your heads like crazy. And then the third little quote quickly. The hardest thing to understand in the world is income tax. And that's from Albert Einstein. So it makes you think. So why am I hopping on this whole idea about tax? The main thing is I want you to take advantage. I want you to take advantage of this tax-free product, number one. And number two, I want you to understand that time is running out. Especially, you'll see in the next slide when we talk about the product. So as a quick introduction, in the Bible it says, give to Caesar what is due to Caesar. And yes, a tax, we have to pay our portion of tax. But what's nice about this product is Treasury is giving us something back. And that's what I want to push with this tax-free investment product. Okay, so the reason why I'm pushing it is you must understand that the tax year is different to a calendar year. It starts on the first day of March and obviously it runs into the last day of February. So we're in February now. You've got 2 or 3 weeks left. Okay, take advantage of this thing. Okay, so when I say take advantage, you can save and invest up to 30,000 Rand per year. So if you haven't used this now and you've got some spare cash lying around, plug it into this product. So, one of the limitations is yes, it's 30,000 per year, but also there's a maximum lifetime limit of 500,000. So you divide 500,000 by 30,000, you come up with a little answer here, 16.7 years. So it's finite. So as I say, you can start now, take advantage of this tax rebate. So when I say this tax rebate, what do you actually get back? So the tax-free investment plan, I'll go into more detail just now, allows investors to save and not only pay, you don't pay any tax on the proceeds. So you don't pay any tax on the capital growth of your investment. You don't pay any tax when you withdraw it, so there's no income tax. You don't pay any tax on dividends, income, or anything like that. So, say that you're getting something back. So take advantage of it. So you'll see in the next slide that this is, some of you might be thinking, wow, okay, this is all great, but some of you, those of you, I'm calling the parents now, those of you who have children, consider your children. And in the next slide, you see what I mean by that. So here's the slide, taking some assumptions. We're going for, I'm assuming you're going to open up an account for your child. Okay, so they'll be on the lowest tax rate in that. And remember, I was talking about 16.7 years. So yeah, working on 15 years, just working on 5 years every time. Compare putting the funds into a normal, what they call a discretionary investment, as opposed to a tax-free vehicle. There's a big difference. So first of all, I'll highlight the assumptions. I'm assuming that we're using our maximum contribution, 30,000 Rand per annum, which works out to about 2,500 Rand per month. I'll go into more the nitty-gritties just now. But I'm also assuming that we're working on an annual growth of about 12% on the market, and we're allocating 100% into equities. Now, that's what we must also remember, compared to like a retirement annuity, there are certain limitations. Retirement annuity, you can't invest more than 75% into equities. Yeah, you can. Up to 100% in equities. So we'll talk about more of the differences just now. I'm also assuming a dividend yield of 3%, which is the average of the market. Remember, in a normal investment, normal shares, you'd be paying dividend withholding tax of 15%, and capital gains tax works on an inclusion rate of 33 and 30% of your maximum taxation rates. So in this scenario, we're working on a tax rate of 18%. So if I invested 30,000 Rand every year, after 5 years, if I invested in the discretionary investment, okay, I would have had 207,000 Rand, close to 208,000 Rand. But putting into a tax-free savings, you get additional 5,492 Rand, call it saving, growth. Okay, so you can see the big difference there. So just after your first 5 years, there's a 2.64% difference as opposed to a normal investment. After 10 years, you're talking about a 26,000 Rand saving, okay, that you're getting back, or that you saving on the tax side. And then after 15 years, nearly 80,000 Rand, or 6.82%. So, as I say, if you've got children, start early, especially for them. But for yourself, even do it for yourself. Okay. So let's get into the more nitty-gritties. What do you need to know about the product? There's certain things that you need to be aware of. And just to go again, just to hop on, just to remind you to take advantage, here's another quote. It says, one thing is clear, the founding fathers, obviously talking about the Americans, but you can say here in South Africa the same thing. Founding fathers never intended a nation where citizens would pay nearly half of everything they earn to the government. So yeah, the government's giving you opportunity to save on tax. Take advantage of it. Okay. So what do you need to know? First of all, you have to be a South African citizen to be able to open up the account. You have to be a natural person. So obviously companies and trusts and things like that can't open a tax-free savings account. As I say, you can even open it for your children. Initially, at this point in time, you can't transfer from your existing voluntary investment plans and things like that into this funds, into this tax-free investment plan. However, from 1st of March, obviously 3 weeks' time, you can. But remember, you want to take advantage of the tax situation now. Secondly, what's also you won't be able to do at this point in time, convert your existing funds, your existing unit trusts, into this tax-free investment plan. It's not allowed. Okay. And you can have numerous accounts at all different places, Allan Gray and Coronation, etc. However, the onus is on you not to exceed the 30,000 Rand per annum. We'll talk about it just now. You will get penalized for that. So the onus is on you. Make sure that you're not exceeding those limits. If I had to go into a bit more details, what's nice about this product, you got flexibility of contributions. You can start and stop your contributions at any time. In other words, a regular or lump sum payments, you can do it all in one, make up the 30,000, or you can do monthly debit orders. As long as it doesn't exceed the 30,000 Rand per year. Remember, you got a 500,000 Rand lifetime, so you can't exceed that amount either. And we'll talk, on the next slide, we'll talk about withdrawals. Secondly, you can also obviously select automatic annual premium increases. So if you're not at a 2,500 Rand limit yet, obviously you can still stipulate those increases. You have a wide range of funds available for you as an investment option. There's about 52 of them. What we do here at PSG, we only allow obviously clean classes. What clean classes means in our situation, it's funds that don't have any performance fees or any rebates. So the whole idea with what I say, what they call clean classes, is that let me get to my point here. Where was the clean classes? Performance fees. The whole idea is that obviously makes the costs more transparent to you as the investor. Okay, so just understand. Obviously, if it hasn't got performance fees involved, that the growth might be slightly bit lower. Just be aware of those kind of things. But it's very transparent, and we'll go into more detail when we talk about the different funds just now. Another thing is also, as I mentioned just now, compared to typical tax-friendly vehicles, tax-free vehicles like the retirement annuities, remember, you can invest up to 100% in equities here. With RAs, you're limited to 75%. So those are some of the big advantages also. When it comes to withdrawals, now this is very important to understand. There are no restrictions. You can deposit this money into this account and you can withdraw it all if you want to, but you can't put the money back. Just understand that once the funds are accessed, you can't put it back. There are, remember, 30,000 Rand a limit per year. So if you put in 30,000 and you withdraw 15,000, you can't put that 15,000 Rand to make up that 30,000 Rand again. Okay, it's the same thing with the 500,000. You withdraw 70,000, you can never go back to the 500 limit. So just understand those are some of the rules around that. And this is all legislative rules. If you do exceed that amount, you will be taxed at a 40% in that tax year. So you will be penalized if you exceed those amounts. Okay. So remember, I also said you can have funds at different brokers and things like that. The onus is on you to make sure you don't exceed those balances. When it comes to fees, well, what's nice about this product, it's cheap. If you had a look at our PSG funds, our ongoing fee is 0.228%. Okay. Other funds, obviously, we don't have initial fees, we don't have exit fees, and we don't have switching fees. Okay. With other fees, yes, it's a bit higher, and obviously, the bigger the fund, it will grow more than 500,000. Okay. So, but when it gets over 500,000, we talk about an ongoing fee and things like administration fee of 0.57%. It goes above 1,500 Rand if it grows after 16.7 years, obviously that ongoing fees. So those are just some of the things you need to know around this tax-free investment plan. So what funds or what funds or investments are available to you? There are, as I say, more than 54 funds available. There's quite a few different PSG funds, as I say, maybe look at them because obviously the fee structure is much lower. But to help you on our website, if you click on this link, by the way, when you get the presentation, it'll take you to the website. You'll be able to download the list of funds available for this tax-free investment plan. And I sincerely recommend you do that. Number one, you can see what it's about, you see what classes are available, and what are the funds available. You need that list. What's nice then, if you go back onto our website, this is what the funds looks like, what that list looks like, by the way. You go back onto our website, and again, you click on this little link here to take you to what we call the funds A to Z. Now you can compare one fund to another fund. You can see the performances, you can see a lot of financial ratios in that, and it also helps you in your selection criteria. Okay, so I hope that makes a bit more sense to you guys. When it comes to the tax-free investment plan, remember the whole idea is that you don't compare funds, and 2,500 Rand, you can split it up, and you'll see in the next few slides we talk about opening up the account. You can specify what percentage gets split up between the different funds once you've selected the funds. Okay. Remember at PSG Wealth, we're not allowed to give specific investment advice, so we can't tell you what specific funds to invest in. The onus is on you to choose it for yourself. Okay. So these are the tools that help you make an investment decision. Okay. And then let's get into how do you open a tax-free investment plan. If you go onto our website, and I'm assuming you don't have an account right now, so you go click on login. You select the platform, you click on register. I'm going to go through this very fast because I know we want to focus more on the questions. And then you'll put in your ID number, you'll put in your username. If you've got an existing username, obviously your password and things like that. On step 3, you want to choose Unit Trust. That's the product you want to choose. Step 4, you provide your personal details. Step 5, your banking details. Step 6, you accept the terms and conditions. So once that's open, you go back to the website, click on login, select the platform, put in your in the new platform, new website. You put in your ID number, put in your password. You go select your account and select portfolio. And then this is how you start doing your funds. You select in the portfolio, if you had a voluntary investment plan, you'll see your tax-free investment plan. You select the account, select it there. Once you're in the account, you click on the button invest. Okay, so this is how you start allocating the funds now. So one thing I wanted to mention to you guys, you can go with a monthly debit order, minimum 500 Rand per month, or a minimum of lump sum of 6,000 Rand. As long as it doesn't exceed 30,000 Rand, no problem in that year. So there you select the frequency, obviously monthly or quarterly or yearly, whatever you want to do it, once off. And in this situation, you can see here we're doing a big lump sum once off. And as I think a lot of you guys will be in this situation, if you want to take advantage of this product right now, with the tax season upon us, a few more days left, you might be looking at that option. And then what you're going to do is, as I say, go select the funds. So you type in the name of the fund, and obviously from there you'll select it. Once you've selected the funds, now you start looking at selecting multiple funds and then spreading the investment, if you want to, across different percentages. So this is an example how it would work. Okay. So I went through this very, very quickly because I know you guys want to ask more questions. So let me see what's available here on questions. Before we, let me try this way again. Before we conclude. Okay. Let me see what kind of questions we have today. Oops. Loud and clear, no questions. Oh, great. Okay. Looks like I've gone through everything very, very fast for you guys. And I hope it wasn't too fast, because last week I was told that I'm not spending enough time on questions. Are there any questions? Speak now. Okay. Keith, Cape Town, great. Okay. Well, guys, I hope that my Carl, pleasure. I hope you found it useful having the camera on. So it's the first time I've done it, the whole webinar with the camera on, so you can see what I'm talking about. So it's someone live on the other side. Okay, yeah, happy, Tony. Pleasure. Thanks. Kids of any age. Yeah. Obviously, a good question, Sean. When you register an account on behalf of your children, obviously you put in the ID number and in brackets put minor. So there's no limitations on what age. Just understand, obviously, 50 or 16.7 years later, they can't put any more funds into it if you exceeded your 500,000. I hope that answers your question, Sean. Okay, are there any other questions? Okay. Speak now for every LGPs. Great, Trevor. I'm glad to see you on the webinar. I'm sorry about the little link problem we had later. Pensioners should have been allowed to invest more than 30,000 per year. I know there's a lot of things might be changing, Trevor. So, point taken. There's a question from Leondet. You can only invest 500,000 over a lifetime, but can your investment grow past that? And will you be taxed at 40% for that? No. Okay. Yes, to answer that question, two parts, Leonard. Yes, your investment can exceed, obviously, it can grow more than 500,000, and you will not be taxed on any growth in that portfolio. So I hope that answers your question, Leonard. How do I invest for my grandchildren? They do not have IDs. Is an ID number sufficient? That's a question from Gert. They should have on their birth certificate. They should have a ID number. Gert, if they got a birth certificate. I know my children do. So yeah, as I say, you can open up accounts for your grandchildren, no problem. Tony, quick question here. If I set up an account for my grandson, I do not want the parents to have any control of over withdrawals. Is this possible? I presume so, Tony. Obviously, when you open up the account for your grandchildren, they'll stipulate a bank account linked to it. So you might have to open up a bank account for your children, and obviously no third-party withdrawals. Great question, Tony. Andres, can I deduct your investment from the taxable income? Can you deduct your investment from your taxable income? No, this is not the same as a retirement annuity. I presume you're talking about that, your contributions. No, it doesn't work the same way as a retirement annuity. Obviously, your contributions, you up to a certain limit of, I think it's 15% of your taxable income. You can obviously deduct that from your income. No, this works totally opposite, Andres. Your contributions is a limit, as I said, up to 30,000 per year, 500,000 lump sum. Any growth in dividends and capital growth and that kind of stuff is tax-free. So no, it works totally opposite to like a retirement annuity. Andres, I hope that also answers your question. Are there any other questions? Great. I really appreciate the questions, and I appreciate this interaction with you guys. If I use my bank account, will I be protected? Is my account allowable? Tony, I'm not 100% sure. I'll have to come back to you on that one. It's third-party payments. Tony, to be honest, I'll have to come back to you on that one. Andres, pleasure. Okay, here's a question from Jason. If after 5 years the investment is withdrawn and the product is still in place, and I start over with the 500,000, no. Okay. After 500,000, I withdraw those funds. So let's say after 5 years, what's that? 5 times 3 is 150,000. That's the maximum you could have put in by then. If I withdraw that 180,000 rand by then, Jason, I have to take 180,000 off the 500,000. So I can't exceed. I was at 320 then. I can't put in more than 320,000 lifetime. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. You can't exceed that. If you do exceed it, obviously you're penalized. Okay, I'll do that, Tony. No problem. Jason, I hope that answers your question too. Okay. Are there any other questions? Any other questions? It looks like it's the end. Okay. Okay, here's a question from Tony again. Is the fund protected against creditors? I presume so. It's a retirement tax-free. I presume it was not a retirement product, but Tony, good question. I'll have to get back to you on that one too. But I presume if it's in your grandchildren's names and things like that, yeah. Tony, to be honest, I have to come back to you on that question too. Okay. Pleasure. Thanks, Tony. Thanks for the questions and thanks for your participation. Are there any other questions? Okay, let's quickly wrap this up. Here's a question. Okay, Anthony Rotenbach. Must children have own bank account? I just think when you open it up from a FICA point of view, to my knowledge, Tony, I think the people have to have their own bank account. So I think you might have to, for third-party payments, there has to be some link like that. Okay. Okay, Anthony, I'll come back to you on that one also. Okay. Looks like those are all the questions, guys. Just excuse the noise there. I've got a coffee machine behind me. Okay. So, Tony, Anthony and Tony, I'll have to come back to you on those two about the bank details and the children. Okay. Guys, so from my side, let me just quickly wrap it up. Hopefully you got the message, the urgency, the tax window is closing. If you haven't got this product, please open up a tax-free investment plan today. Obviously, from a FICA point of view, there might be 1 or 2 little documents you might need if you haven't got it yet. As I said, I'll find out about the bank accounts and for the children and things like that. But as I said, the presentation will be sent to you guys, and obviously the recording. Just to promote my upcoming webinars, upcoming events. Next week, we're talking about the advantages of the new secure website. Some of you have been playing around on that. Week after that, we're talking about take advantage of the tax season. So yes, obviously talking about tax again. End of this month, we're talking about 6 financial ratios you should be using, especially as a value investor. beginning of March, we're talking about technical analysis, and my whole concept there is to keep it simple. The technical analysis doesn't have to be complicated. Some of us like to look at our charts like spaghetti. No, it doesn't have to be like that. And then the 9th of March, maximize your capital by trading derivatives. So we are talking about single stock CFDs, currency futures in that half an hour slot. At this point in time, we have only got one seminar at this point in time. It's in Cape Town in 2 weeks' time. We're talking trading derivatives. I still have to finalize the dates and the venue and the topics for the upcoming webinars around the country. That should be up by Friday. Okay. But guys, from my side, thank you very much for participating. Thanks for being on this webinar. Until next week, I thank you very much. There's my contact details. If you need to drop me emails and things like that. All the best. Keep well. Until next week. Ciao for now. Bye.